You were my first draft pick.
Yeah, I'm what you call a grenade. I just blow up.
You did. Let's go back to pre-Survivor in your life. You're watching the show. What is your actual history with this show? Did you watch it over the years? Did you do some binging?
Yeah, I was a Survivor binger during COVID. And I put almost no thought into applying, which might anger many people who say I took their spot, but I don't decide who gets cast. And I one day I was watching it and I just said, oh yeah, I'll apply. I'll never hear back. And that is what I did. And then I heard back, and then I went to Fiji, and then I realized I would have done better on Big Brother.
You might have, yes. Inside a house. You did mention in your preseason interviews thinking like, I don't want to live outside. I don't want bugs crawling on me. So it sounds like that thought came to you, but then left during the casting process.
Yeah, I think the excitement of, oh my God, could this really happen? And then, you know what? I am strong. I am resilient. I can do, name of that episode, I can do hard things, right? I mean, I said that to myself over and over and over and over on that island. And so when I saw that that was the first episode name, We Can Do Hard Things, I was just like, and then she quits. But I just thought, you know what, the bugs, the rain, I'm just going to do it because this is Survivor and this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. So who am I to say no to it? And then I got there and was like, no.
Call from casting, you said you were teaching or you were in a psychological stress class.
I was teaching it.
You were teaching it. Was this foreshadowing your experience?
So that class is going through every single disorder in the DSM-5. And no, it was not. However, nicotine withdrawal is in the DSM-5. I should have known.
Okay, yes. So you shock us all by saying you're having nicotine withdrawal. Where in your mind here did you think I'll just quit smoking on the show?
No, I don't smoke. Okay. I have these like nicotine pouches, and like sometimes if someone has a vape, I'm not saying anyone should do this, but I was like, oh, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit. And, you know, it got closer and closer. I get to pregame. I haven't quit yet. I'm in Fiji with my little nicotine pouches. I'm like, this is fine. I'll just go cold turkey and I'm going to be in the game. So I'm going to be so focused on the game. No, that is not what happened.
That's not how that works. Yeah. So so maybe like when you were in sequester, like you maybe could have stopped it then, but you didn't.
Yeah, I think if people could just stop, more people would, you know?
Right.
And I thought I could, and I didn't.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a nightmare trying to quit that.
That's my experience on Survivor. Honestly, I think the nicotine withdrawal was just making me more teary, but I think complete sleep deprivation, I mean, no minute of sleep on that island, plus no food. I don't know how people do it. And I think that's amazing that they can. I never want to do anything like that again.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't do it. So how was your energy during sequester? You were still gung-ho, like it hadn't crossed your mind, just waiting?
Oh yeah. I was like, I'm going to win. And here's how. I know how to read the room, and I know how to play the bubbly, non-confrontational, like, you can see it on the show. I'm very like agreeable, like let's lay low. That was my strategy. And I was in everyone's pocket until I was like, I want to go home. Yeah. And so socially, I played the game I wanted to play. I was not a threat. None of them knew what I did for work. I mean, it was very like, oh, little Hannah, like little blonde Hannah, like, let's like, you know, she's not awful in challenges. And it was like threat level 0, but struggling with, you know, it was like culture shock. It was like the shock of it. And again, for all the people on the internet that are like, she shouldn't have gone, she should have known. Sorry. I thought I did, and I didn't know how I would react, and I did the best that I could, you know? And I didn't want to take the spot of anyone else on my tribe because they wanted to be there so badly. And if I was being actually honest with myself, I didn't.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. Like we in this business of watching regularly are not big fans of quitters. But if it comes to a first boot, it's really hard to watch someone's dream go down immediately, day 2, day 3 on Fiji. Yeah. So it is a bit of a gift that you gave the rest of your tribe to take that first boot spot.
1000%. And you know, there's thousands, probably more, of people on the internet, and I don't even have Instagram. Like, I just know this is happening because people are telling me. I'm like, please don't tell me. You know, I've been crying all morning because people are like attacking my business. Like, why would I get therapy from a quitter? And it's like, first of all, you're not going to, because you're not in the state of Maryland. Also, what? This doesn't have to do with the show. Also, in any case, this whole like quitters, I'm like, I'm sorry, but we saw someone on Big Brother last season leave, and it was like, oh, why would someone? If someone is taking care of themselves, absolutely, sorry for swearing, but like, I don't know. I think there's such a societal like shaming of like, oh, you should never give up. And I'm like, disagree. Absolutely disagree. It was that being there was fucking me up. And I knew it was going to continue to, especially backstabbing and blindsiding people. And I didn't know before I went out there that I would feel that way. I didn't know. But when I was sitting at that tribal and I just knew, oh, the only reason I'm going to stay here is to save face for millions of strangers watching TV. I was like, that's not authentic. And I'm taking someone's spot. And that is why I left, because I didn't want to be there and I didn't want to take their spots. So the vitriol keeps coming, but like, go outside, read a book. Yes. Jesus Christ.
Touch a tree. You and Brandon, I mean, when you guys were breaking down together, it's truly relatable and endearing. Was there ever a moment that it crossed your mind to like stay for him and to be a support for each other?
Yes. So specifically with Brandon and Sean, and they didn't show a lot of my interactions with Sean, but there's a reason at Tribal that Sean is just like sobbing and we're holding hands at Tribal. Besides like saving face on TV, the only reason I stayed until Tribal, I mean, obviously, like, I respect the game and I don't want to mess it up. And I didn't want someone else to go home, etc. But like, my connections with specifically Sean and Brandon and Emily, honestly, it was just us. And like, I love Sabaya and Caleb, but they were like, yes, like, let's compete. And I was like, can't relate to any of that. But yeah, I think I knew Brandon really wanted to play the game together, and I love him so much. And I couldn't write his name down. And like, those two things, I was just like, yeah, you know what? I volunteer as tribute, send me home. So that y'all can keep playing, and then like we'll connect after. And we did.
So when there are these game talks, obviously before Tribal, we're trying to make plans, and we see a couple different plans, you know, being pitched to you. Was your brain at all like, okay, I hear you, let's think about voting this, or were you like, I gotta go?
Oh no, I didn't decide I cannot do this until sitting at Tribal, and it started drizzling, and I was like, no, because you didn't see a 24-hour monsoon. You didn't see my toenails almost falling off. You didn't see no sleep in no shelter and Caleb and Sabaya snoring. Like, you didn't see that stuff. And so I was very much, and I was very open in my confessionals, like going back and forth between, I want to play, I want to be here, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And then this little voice being like, you could eat a burger tonight. You could have a bed tonight. And I couldn't get rid of it. And I was like, stop it. Like, no. And I was just like crying all the time, which is, you know, I was crying this morning, but like, normally I'm not a big crier. And, so I was very much in it. And again, the vote, it was going to be Emily or Brandon. Kendra came to Lulu Beach. There was a whole thing that no one ever saw. And I knew that depending on how the vote went, it might be Brandon.
Yeah.
And between it starting to rain, my hunger, and knowing it might be Brandon, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get ripped apart on the internet, but I'm not going to save face. And Brandon's, you know, lifelong dream is going to be ended. Or Emily, whose biggest fear was being sent home early, and we talked about it. Like, you know what? Let the internet come at me. Y'all want to play this game? I just want to eat and sleep. And I'm going to keep doing that. And that's what I did. And it's hard. It's hard knowing that people are so angry, which I just can't relate to, like, messaging someone about how much they suck, but maybe that's just me. Maybe, you know, I hope you don't either, but
no, of course not. But we see it every season, and they're hidden behind a username. You know, people are very brave when it's anonymous. Let's talk a little bit about the twist, because Kendra is at your camp and we don't even see this, and she's a part of strategizing. How are we going to see this play out? Because I assume she's got some connections now.
Yes. So I wasn't there after, obviously. So like can't speak to anything after me walking down that walkway and going, woo! And you know what? I'm glad that Jeff went on air and said, this is something that happened, because it really, I think for the first time, shows the fans there's so much that goes on in a 24-hour, 48, 72-hour period, and you're seeing a condensed version. No one would ever know about the whole Kendra twist unless Jeff talked about it, which he did, and I'm glad that he did. So just like, you don't have all the info, keep that in mind when you're judging us. So anyway, Lulu is like a mess. I mean, we are hilarious and have such great personalities, but like, we're a mess. We're delusional. Delulu. And so we're on the water washing off, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I can stay here. I can do this. I had like a moment of reprieve because I ate a piece of a coconut, and I was like, and then Kendra comes in a boat, and I'm like, no. And I walk into the jungle. I'm like, I'm not doing this, which like in hindsight, I feel awful because Kendra's amazing, but she's positive and enthusiastic and joyful. And that was the antithesis of everything I was feeling in that moment. Mm-hmm. So I went up to her and apologized for being a bitch. And then she strategized with people, she made connections. She had a secret vote. It was like this whole thing and this scramble. I mean, it was hours of scrambling, and you all see less than a minute. It's crazy. It's so interesting watching it and just being like, but you're not seeing what happened.
So Kendra knew that the vote was going to be Emily or maybe Brandon as a backup.
I know it was Emily or Brandon, and those are my people, man.
Right. You said you would give up your life and career for musical theater. Me too. Sames. What's your favorite musical or role? Give me some musical theater.
Okay. So in college, I was Maureen in Rent, and it was like the highlight of my life. It's really hard to condense it. I will say one of the newer shows, like the more contemporary shows I've seen that has wowed me is Jagged Little Pill. And it's just on national tour now. Moulin Rouge. I mean, the cinema, like I cannot with the choreography and the singing, obviously Hamilton. And then like the classics, right? Like Rent. I would say I love most musicals outside of Cats. Mm-hmm. Don't love Cats.
Rent is also my fave. I also have to ask you about astrology because that's another one of my loves. Do you know your big three? Are you?
Oh, you would have to ask Kendra because she knows big three. I know that I'm a Libra. My birthday was 2 days ago. Mm-hmm. I literally turned 33, and then Survivor aired, and then today is this, and I'm just like, I need a nap.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I know you're a Libra sun, but the moon moved from Sagittarius to Capricorn on your birthday. So you're one of those. Without your birth time, I can't tell you your rising. But after watching you and hearing you, I'm going to say Sagittarius moon strong, because they know when something isn't right for them and they have no problem walking away. They do not need to, play it through, give it time to figure it out. It's a gut thing.
Oh my God. Well, that is me too. My family was like, this makes sense for you. And I was like, yeah, cool.
And also the Libra sun, you needed balance. You didn't find it out there. So you were like, no. Peace out.
I did not.
Well, thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Sarah. So nice meeting you.